prepaid call from an inmate at the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office. This call will be recorded and monitored. Your advance pay account balance is $18.80. For customer assistance, billing inquiries, or to block future calls, dial 1-877-650-4249. To hear the cost of this call, press 8 now. To accept this call, press 5 now. To decline call, this call is subject to monitoring and recording. Do not use three-way or call waiting features during this call. Thank you for using Global Tel-Link.
Hey, good morning, brother. This a good time?
Yes, sir. Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, I just talked to Brain Fade here, Mrs. Breaker, on my projects. And one of the things, the guys here are loving the kennel. Do you have the new intro put in there and the new corrections at the end? And if so, can you print one out that's only 2 to a page instead of 4 to a page?
Okay, I'll have to check with Amy on that. Amy's been doing edits and alterations to the kennel, so I'll check with her this morning and see how far she's gotten along.
Sounds great.
And if she has got it done, I can print 2 to a page, no problem. Let me ask you this, sir. How many pages is a kennel? I forget off the top of my head.
Well, just the book is 21 pages, so on 4 sheets, on 8 to a page actually. It's good on 4 sheets, plus then the end.
Yeah.
There's about 5 sheets of paper, so it'll end up being 10 sheets of paper.
But I thought you said you only wanted 2 sheets per page, so that would be 4 pages per physical paper.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So it'll end up being 10 sheets of paper.
Okay, no big deal. I can get about 20 pages in an envelope, I'm told. So I have to always think about whether I got to break it up into 2 envelopes based upon 20 pieces of paper per envelope. So.
Yeah, no hurry. If she doesn't have it done, we should wait and see what happens Friday, because we're going to ask them again. Just drop this case.
Right. I hope they do. Amen. I got some things to mention on some efforts this morning, but you go ahead.
I'm done. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, and so you do want to wait till this Friday, because even if she doesn't have the edits made, I could still send you some copies, but that's entirely up to you.
No, I think we're fine.
Okay.
I want to get it with the new intro in there. Double check that.
Okay. No, I'll reach out to Amy, and Amy's been a great help. So she's also been, her and her husband Chris have been providing some good biblical verses for support as well. So I did reach out. Let's change the subject, Mr. Hoven, and let's talk about court reporting. I did call a Florida court reporting company, and they directed me to. They only did Southern Florida, and they directed me to a company in Northern Florida. It appears there's 2 big court reporting companies in Northern Florida. One of them is called Anchor Court Reporting, and one of them is called Weir's Bicky, W-I-E-R-Z Bicky, B-I-C-K-I. But I talked to both of them this morning, as well as I called Judge Margaret Casey Rogers. And let me say this first. I talked to Judge Margaret Casey Rogers' assistant, and she said, because I was not you, and that I couldn't ask anything on your behalf. And I said, well, what if I recorded Mr. Hoven asking, and I played it for you, And she said, no, that won't work. You'll have to get him to inquire through his attorney. So anything regarding a request, and she acted like there's only one official court reporter, and it's controlled by the federal government. But when I pressed her on the issue to say, can Mr. Hoven request his own court reporter, that's when she backed. She wouldn't answer the question directly, and she just said that you must make all of those requests, and I'm unable to ask for you. So, but not only that, I called Anchor and I called Weir's Bicky, and they both they seem to think that at the federal level that the rules may.
From the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
At the federal level, rules may be a little different, and so they're supposed to have one of their specialists call me back later today, and. This question all revolves around, can there be 2 court reporters in the room, and nobody seems to be able to answer that for sure. So I'm going to talk to Amy later today. So I'm just letting you know how these conversations are going, and we'll continue to research that. And I asked Batty on that debate whether he was getting paid for his involvement with you. He refused to answer the question. So it doesn't surprise me that they have everything well documented, because I'm sure they're getting paid to make an example of you for the rest of the world.
Well, that's fine. nothing to fear from this shining the light. My throat's a little sore here. I'm singing bass this morning.
Okay.
Now, the letters, there were, I think, 4 or 5 or maybe even more to Scott Schneider. They should be dated somewhere 2000, 2001, 2002. And in there, I have referred to the attachments, which was the letters. Now, the complaint from Batty is that I searched for people to write those letters that weren't even in my region. Well, the truth is, I asked around who's willing to write and answer this, and people are afraid to. They're afraid to just say, here's what the law says. So somebody told me to contact those particular 3. I don't remember who now. That was 10 years ago. But so I contacted those 3 and said, do you guys write these professional letters? And if so, here's my $50, or you can read my letter to them.
Right.
So I was told most other people in that profession are afraid to give a professional answer on writing, precisely because they get persecuted and prosecuted.
Right. I understand.
So the fact is, Batty needs to understand, I did exactly what the booklet says. The booklet does not say they have to be your neighbors. They have to be those 3 professions. I did that. They answered in writing. I sent it in. I never got a response. So quit trying to put the blame on me. Put the blame where it belongs.
Amen.
Better yet, tell Batty, go through those letters those folks wrote and tell me what's wrong with them. Forget the person.
Right.
Look at what they said. Read what they said and show me the law. Tell me where they're wrong. Quit attacking the person. I don't care who Ortiz is. I never met him.
Right. Amen. It's about the content of the message, not the messenger. Right. And just to share with you, there is a bit of character assassination, and that always comes along with the territory. So that's in full swing by the enemy camp as well. So we'll just keep marching down the road and continue to see what the Lord has in store. But I do believe the Lord can work a mighty miracle in this, and the Lord will get the glory. And we're giving God the praise through every step of all of this. And we're praising God that He's going to use this situation for His own good.
Amen. Well, in 1776, when they wrote the Declaration of Independence, if you would read the news in England about the guys who signed that thing, read what the English news says about Alexander Hamilton or Benjamin Rush or some of those guys. They were blasting them all the time. John Hancock signed his name huge. They want to make sure the king can read it without his spectacles.
Amen.
All he did is specifically say, here's what this king did wrong. We want the world to know this is why we are rebelling.
Amen.
Understand, this is what he did. The king never did answer any of his accusations. Instead, he came and attacked him.
Right. That's exactly what's going on here, too. Absolutely.
So, what have I done that is wrong?
Right. Exactly. That's the conversation that needs to be had, not whether the particular people who were chosen to. It's just the people who gave the advice. Who cares about them or their character? What did they have to say, right? It's the content of the message.
Well, see, here's the way it works with the IRS. If you fill out a form and sign it under penalty of perjury and send it to them, they now have a club to beat you with, and they freely do when they feel like it. Okay?
Right.
So if you do fill out a form, they nail you. If you don't fill out a form, they nail you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they got you either way. That's his attitude as well, because almost every conversation that guy, I don't even like mentioning his name, but every conversation he starts, he always says affirm or deny. Well, you don't have to say affirm or deny, because the law, the applicability of that law was never meant to be towards Baptist ministers.
Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
So they try to trick you in your words, like you said before, about affirm or deny, but the applicability of the law was never intended to be towards Baptist ministers. It was meant to be towards drug money runners and money launderers and things like that.
Yes, well, in a previous one, I told you the 4 verses I found, and there's probably more about them trying to trick Jesus in his words.
Right.
Him in his words.
Right.
That's all they do.
Yeah.
And that's what they'll try to do to me. Here's what I'm concerned about. The court has 1,000 rules that are certainly not laws. They were never voted on by Congress. It's just the court rule. For instance, when I try to introduce something for evidence, you have to do that 3 days ahead of time, or that there'll be some kind of rule to prevent me. Now, is this a law, or is this just your rule? This is just your policy. Well, it's our policy. It's our rule. See, it's like the Pharisees. God's law is pretty clear, and yet they added 10,000 regulations to that law. We now have a court system that not only has all these policies that make it impossible to win, they have all this case law that they go on. Well, Judge Smith said this, and Judge Johnson said this. Who cares? What does the law say? The Pharisees did that. They'd say, well, Rabbi so-and-so says this, and Rabbi so... Forget the rabbi. What does God say, What does the Constitution say?
Amen. Amen.
Just make it real simple. So we have gone crazy allowing people to make rulings based on case law. And I'm sure they've got a rule for that too. Well, we're allowed to do that. Like me, sitting 7 months. You're supposed to go 70 days after you're indicted. Speedy trial. Well, they've got 10 exceptions to that. Well, 70 days except, court so-and-so said this, and Judge Smith said this. Meanwhile, the U.S. Attorney had a family emergency. Well, my mother-in-law died, for heaven's sake, while I was in prison. I had a family emergency. I want to go home.
Right. My goodness.
It's been way more than 70 days. Just stop. Just drop the charge and let's go home. Put away the guns and stop.
Yeah.
They just cannot seem to comprehend. I feel very much like Neo in The Matrix.
Yeah, I understand.
I would not quit. They just kept coming at him, kept coming. I don't know. And the jury needs to realize they are paying the salary of those guys.
Yeah.
Who's paying? Who's helping me fight this? Where do I get money to fight this case? They get to use the jurors' money against me.
Right.
Anybody awake? Is anybody alert out here? What's going on?
Well, as I view this, Mr. Hovind, it's almost like you were a leading light in promoting Christianity as far as young earth creationism and biblical, sticking with the biblical truths, and they had to make an example out of you to, kind of set a tone for anybody else who might, want to rise up and say the Bible is true, and because you did take a compromising stance. From the way I see it, they're trying to make an example out of you for the rest of us. If anybody else gets any ideas that they would do what you did, but we'll keep praising the Lord, and I think the Lord can work a mighty miracle. And also, I need to mention, Dr. Hovind, before the call comes to an end. At 6:00, I'll be leaving, and I'll be starting Bible study around 7:30. We got to drive across town for a Bible study tonight. But if you do want to call, you feel welcome to call on the cell phone, and we'll let the whole Bible study can talk to you. It's a good group of guys, and they did come out with a video and support you. So, you're welcome to do that if you want. If it doesn't work out, we understand as well. But
60 seconds remaining.
If you want to call before 6 as well, I can give you an update, and maybe we can do some Bible questions if you want. It's entirely up to you.
Sounds great. All right. You don't have any this morning then? No, I don't need to call back.
You can if you want. I do have some. It's entirely up to you if you have time for it this morning.
Mornings are the best time because there's nobody yet. They're not even up yet.
Oh, good. If your throat's not hurting, let's do it.
No, it doesn't hurt. It just gives me a deep voice.
Okay, very good. Okay.
I'll call right back.
Okay, very good.